What the Sigma?
Doesn't know when to quit.
Look at that guard.
Here we're gonna try and plant some of those. Beaver eating the McChicken pho today. So I might plant some more in there. That's what Boo Boo will look like. I have 2 baby vultures in my garage. This one does not like me one bit. All right, everybody, we got another beaver for our little friend. Met another wildlife rehabber who had a baby beaver, and he does not specialize in them. He doesn't really have the facility. The crawfish literally live underground in these fields here in Texas. But these are axis deer, or also called chital deer. They're invasive here in Texas, and this is what they all look like. All of the males only have 3 points on their head. If we're lucky, that's what Boo Boo will look like when he gets older. But he's doing great work over here in way East Texas. And he said he's been getting a few beavers because of all the dang floods that they have out here. So now our little baby won't be a singleton anymore. Tomorrow we're gonna drop the older juvenile beaver that had the arrow wound up at another rehabber's place up in Dallas. This little guy is a little bit older. He's already about weaning age, but he still needs to be on milk for a little bit. And these guys also gave me a ton of pickerel plants for our pond because they saw our videos about the pond. They saw how much dang algae I have in there. Beaver eating the McChicken pho today. Beaver nibbling on a flea pho today. We're here on the side of the road and there's a marsh here and this willow's grown in here. This is a perfect branch for these beavers to eat. I didn't kill the trees, you guys. I just took a bunch of branches and these were given to me by the beaver rehabber. I also got these little sapling pine trees here. We're gonna try and plant some of those, but look at this precious little baby. Here, take him quick. And these could also be food for that adorable little creature. And with these 3 beautiful native flowers, this is my East Texas fall. Pretty nice, huh, guys? But in like 40 years, those trees will look like this. And we don't have any cool, tall trees in Waco, so hopefully they'll actually grow. Beaver eating the apple pho today. And as you guys can see, this little guy is already eating some solid foods, unlike that other little baby that we have. So this guy should be able to teach that little guy how to eat. Look at this precious little fella eating an apple. Good heavens, I adore this animal. But we have a bunch of different little options for this little fella to eat on this car ride home. He has not been given any beaver milk replacer yet, so that's the biggest priority, is getting him home so we can get him on there. He is still too young to be completely weaned. But oh my goodness, look at him. This creature is perfect. All right, everybody, we brought this guy back because the other rehabbers did not have this beaver formula. And according to my IWRC handbook, this little fella definitely needs to be eating a little bit more. But he is 2 pounds and 5 ounces. I'm gonna go ahead and do the math. Also, I got my little Beaver shirt on, but I bought this a while ago thinking, oh man, I really hope we get the chance to use this. And luckily there were 2 orphan beavers in Texas nearby from the people we know. Which never happens, you guys. Usually we have to give these guys away to another beaver rehabber that has them. And now we have 2. Oh, come on, no, sit up. Sit up, buddy. They do be laying on their sides when they're nursing with their mama in the log. So this footage was from a month ago. There's a lot of different methods to bottle feeding these guys. Some rehabbers don't even use any nipples at all. Now they're actually on a bottle. This little guy's drinking from a big bottle. Best case scenario is he starts pulling it himself so I don't have to actually push on the syringe at all. I'm trying out all the different nipples right now. See if this one works better. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm trying it without any nipple at all because I've seen a lot of beaver rehabbers do this. And when they're smaller, this works just as well, if not potentially a little bit better, but it is a bit more messy. And later I'll show you guys the best method that our beaver rehabber friend taught us. All right, now I'm just gonna go ahead and clean off his little face. Okay, easy, easy. I know. But all right, everybody, I'm putting him in here so he can take a poo-poo or a pee-pee. Look at this big, beautiful creature. All right, everybody, this little fella's doing a lot better now. And now he's making his cute little beaver noises, so we know he's healthy. Oh. And I've said this before, but it's okay to love on a baby beaver because they get that from their mother for the first 2 years of their life before they go out to be on their own. But all right, everybody, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this little fella up and put him to bed. Then I'm going straight to Walmart and we're gonna get a setup for him for the house. He's not gonna be able to be in here because we got too many other little creatures. We can't have him inside with the kitty. I'm gonna have to eat the kid. All right, everybody, it's a lot later in the evening and I'm still giving this guy his milk replacer. Almost done. All right, everybody, I just fed this little fella at his feeding station. Now I'm gonna go ahead and drop him in here in the wall. Here, this little fella can go to the bathroom and he can leave here whenever he wants. And obviously, if he wants to, he can just go ahead and climb right out through there because I cut a little hole in it. But this little guy can come in here and pee and poop whenever he wants. He can get dry right here. I put some cord grass plus all of their diet. And obviously here he can drink and pee and poop whenever he wants. And he's relatively close to me, so if I hear him crying or whimpering or being cringe, I can come over and give him some comfort, because this is a baby, you guys. And these guys stay with their mothers for the first 2 years of their lives. So obviously if this little guy is crying or needs to get warm or needs to get dry, I can just come over here and help. But all right, everybody, this boy had plenty of food and water. He's got his little stuffed animal, his hide, all of his water, infinite food for him to start learning to wean on, and lots of little towels in here. He just went into his little pool by himself. And this was a month ago, and even now, a month later, this pond is still full, and we've been getting tons of flooding here in Waco. And if you guys remember, this was always the first pond to dry up. And now this goose is finally friendly enough to eat in front of me. Wow, look at that, you guys. She's friendly now. All right, everybody, this beaver's long journey to rehabilitation is finally almost done. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this little fella, and we're gonna take him right up to the beaver rehabber up north, where they do an amazing job of these older beavers, and hopefully we can get some tips on how to take care of these younger ones we have. But before we give this little man away, I'm gonna check out his wound one last time. Look at that, no scars at all. All Things Wild did an amazing job of taking care of this little guy. If you guys want to go ahead and support them, we have a link for them in the description. And the closest specialized beaver rehabber is 2 hours away. So I packed this bad boy up with some food, but I'm gonna let this guy swim one last time on the pond before we go. But it's a beautiful overcast day at the Urban Rescue Branch, and Homelander somehow jumped over that fence. So now Homelander lives in here with these little creatures. Also, the plants I put in here are actually taking root, so I might plant some more in there. Now that the water's nice and clear here, we don't really have any domestic mammals in the pond. I'm gonna go ahead and fence off the cappies so they don't bother this little fella for his last swim here. Garbanzo Beans is being a horrible person per usual, and the cappies are hanging out way back there, so I'm gonna go ahead and lock them in there. We planted these nice pickerel plants that the rehabbers from East Texas gave me, and they're all actually thriving. Look at that, you guys. Those are the drum that we caught in the last couple videos. Big, beautiful fish that now live here comfortably in this pond. But there he is, everybody, enjoying our nice, beautiful pond here that Greg Wittstock, the pond guy and Aquascape, gave us. But look at this precious little boy enjoying his little pond. For some reason, he always loved hanging out by this log. And with a little bit of work, we should be able to fence this all off and use this for those little baby beavers as they learn to swim and grow up. Lord willing, those little creatures survive. And that little one was in critical condition, but because we gave him dextrose and a lot of other things, he's doing very well now. And this is the little guy a month later at my mentor's facility. You can see the size comparison of these two fellas pretty well here. It's good that they have each other. I will say, you guys, because this one is so small, there is a concern that he may not have gotten his colostrum and therefore won't be able to digest wood, which will be a problem later on. But this should be an excellent place for those precious little beavers to learn how to grow up. And a great place for this little fella to eat all my umbrella grass. Get out of here, Garbanzo Beans. This boy just doesn't know when to quit. Look at that beautiful beaver swimming around in this crystal clear water. And the best thing is, the woman that we're bringing this beaver to actually has a much bigger pond than this, with other beavers that are about his age. That's why we aren't going to keep this little guy around here, even though it would be beneficial for him to teach those little guys how to be beavers. I think this little guy is going to be A-okay in the wild. But I'm going to go ahead and grab him, bring him up to Furry Friends, I think it's called. But that sure is a happy little beaver. I'm trying to convince this little fella to let me catch him. But oh, look at that gar, you guys. Wow. But all right, everybody, this little guy is sleeping. You can see his little tail. But I just gave him some willow branches and this little treat. Hey, and I'll show you a little treat if you don't like this video. All right, everybody, after only 2 hours, I'm almost at this beaver sanctuary. Really cool to work with them, and that way we don't have to drive 2 hours every time we get a dang beaver. Average Texas homestead. Sure is nice to be a Texan. Where did you get the tub at?
This got donated from the Dallas Zoo.
That's really cool. No matter how much water you give these beavers, it's always going to turn brown from their poo, so it's great to be able to flush it out. That's why this drain is here specifically for easy water changes on a regular basis. We also had one of the nicest pre-release raccoon enclosures that I've ever seen. This could also be for ringtails, possums, and a lot of other species, but I took a video so we could copy it. She also had one of the most natural looking pre-release enclosures for fawns that I've ever seen. And this is really cool. This is a pre-release enclosure for yearling beavers. And bear in mind, the purpose of this enclosure is to simulate the environment for a yearling beaver so they can go back to the wild. And the beavers that are in here didn't even let us look at them, which means that Pilar is doing an amazing job of rehabbing them.
They swim and play, drag them out.
And because they regularly have to drain the water, she said she strongly recommends we use 6 or 8-inch pipe for our setup. They also have a sanctuary for little mini horses that people don't want anymore, like this little creature. And there's also a bunch of little mini donkeys here frolicking around too. And they have over 100 acres here with a couple large lakes where some of the beavers will get released. And the footage I took doesn't do it much justice, but these beavers basically created 2 other lakes down the hill from here by draining this main lake. This is the only species that has the ability to just completely change and mold ecosystems. Go straight down, you can see where they're constantly moving back and forth. That's so cool. So it used to be in here, and then they built their own lodge right here. Even the beavers on her property act like beavers in the wild. This is what their yearling setup looks like from the outside, and I was thinking we could maybe tweak the marsh bird enclosure to look like this. This is Pablo, but bigger. And now he finally has a friend. Oh, they're friends already. And then she gave me a ton of great advice on how to raise the babies. But okay, guys, it's a month in the future now. This little guy still poops in my bathtub. The other little baby is still at my mentor's place. Is this big ounce? We just keep getting floods here in Waco, Texas. I'm getting a lot more animals. I have 2 baby vultures in my garage, like 60 to 80 possums that I still need to release. Pumpkins have completely taken over our quarantine enclosure. And the office, which is now nice and clean, still has a bunch of squirrels, possums, doves, and other creatures in here. And these precious baby foxes, which we finally moved into this larger enclosure. And this one does not like me one bit. Plus, we have an infinite supply of owls and hawks, and it just never stops here. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for watching these videos. I'm gonna try really hard to edit all the footage I have in my camera roll over the last month to make some videos for you guys. But I like giving you guys updates of what's happening in real time here at the ranch. But I love you, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you.